One time, one time. Testing, 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 testing. Whoop, 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 whoop. Can y'all hear me? It's crazy. This is very aggravating. But yeah, yo, Tim 4. Well, hopefully it'll do it. It'll stay like that now. Because that's what I was talking about. And the reason I brought this up and I started reading it was because of the part. Damn, I lost it. Okay. Either way, look, this is what I'm talking about, right? So it's about the police. It says police principles of police union endorsements. Almost every police union endorses a candidate or measures on the ballot at some point in its history. Police union leaders who are active in the political arena understand that any endorsement carries with it a political backlash. Every political endorsement is a two edged sword. Every time you endorse a candidate, the whiners and naysayers within the union will predict that not only will your candidate lose, the winner will punish all the members after the election by making the entire union walk a beat on the midnight shift. Some union leaders are defeated for re-election based on perceived damage done by failed endorsements. Proponents and opponents of political endorsements lash out at each other in union meetings and in publications. Members drop out over endorsements and attack the union leadership in the local media for being out of touch with the membership. Police management often speaks out against political involvement by police officers as being damaging to professionalism. Then why do police unions endorse candidates and measures? Because politics is the essence of power, and power controls the political system that in turn controls the political profession. Unions that do not endorse candidates or participate in the political process are merely observers in the system that determines their livelihood. As long as crime remains an issue in politics, the endorsement of police unions will continue to be highly valued. Opinion polls readily indicate that the endorsements of a candidate or measures by a police union has a 60% to 70% approval rating. Translated that means 60% to 70% of the voters are more likely to support a candidate or measures endorsed by the police union. Contrast these numbers to lawyers and unions that generally have a 50% to 70% disapproval rating. A 2007 survey in Minnesota found that in selected wards, voters between 92 and 70% more likely to vote for police endorsed candidates, regardless of whether or not your members believe it. That support is why candidates actively campaign for police unions for endorsement during the 1988 presidential race, Bush and Dukakis fought for police endorsements. The news media was filled with the stories of both candidates receiving the endorsements of some police organization. These endorsements give candidates third-party validation. The conservative candidate wants the endorsement to certify that he is a law and order politician. The liberal candidate wants the endorsement to in order to bring voters' perception of him to a position nearer the center of the political spectrum. With few exceptions, no politician is opposed to law and order. Both conservative and liberals want the support of the police. And I bring that up because now we're moving on to this part right here. Because now we have here, let's see, where's it at? I just had it right here. There's my, this is for my cops that are dolphins for IDs. I need ID. Okay. See, this is why. And if y'all see it, let me see. Hold on. Let me hold it for y'all close so y'all can screenshot it. Let me see. Where is it at? Okay. And on there you have the names. Our city attorney. Right. Jesus Chapa, president of the POA, Manny Ramirez, our then mayor, Betsy Price, and our then city manager, David Cook. And look how happy they are. Look how happy they are, right? And see, the thing about this guy right here, where's it at? Where is he at? The thing about this dude right here, in this without the mask, that's smiling and shaking the man, that's Manny Ramirez. And he currently sits on our commissioner's court and is a Republican reject, right? So, and this was done to us by them. And all those people were there, you know, screwing us over and everything, right? So now comes where I was going with this. Because we go, do they have the people's well-being as a priority or themselves? Their priority is their members, and their members are police officers. So that's what you have to remember, right? The POA is not a union for the citizens, because they on ours they have an officers' bill of rights. And where is that shit? Let me see, people, y'all just choose, because it has an officers' bill of rights. Watch. And it's crazy, right? Because by this meet and confer agreement that they made, right? A police officer can get found guilty of official oppression. They can be found guilty of excessive force, all those things, right? And then they can they can have a third party hearing, and it's for so they can get their job back. Just like in the case of Kruger, he was fired for slamming Carolina and knocking her out, and he was fired, and nothing was done to him. And it's a trip because, and then we go back to what I was trying, what I brought all this up for. Where's it at? Because not only do we not only do they fund this, right? So I want y'all to pay attention to this, right? So we have a district, Blaylock, right? They created two new districts. There was only 10, no, 9. There was only 9 districts here in Fort Worth. And they said that they were going to create 2 more districts to make it more representative of the people of those districts. So we ended up with Jeanette Martinez, right? And Blaylock, a white dude, and this is why I don't like that they fund these guys or whatever, whatnot, right? Because everything he voted for during his whole thing, he's not going to be here. He's quitting. Blaylock is quitting. And he's quitting because he wants to run. Where's it at? So this might be something a little.
You're interfering with the duties right now. The 49 million fake TikTok accounts that were all supporting Trump just came. The 49 million fake TikTok accounts that were all supporting Trump just came out as fake. In Baltimore, a high school football player wound up in.
Where was it at? Okay, because he's not gonna run, and we're in the middle of this election thing, right? So they're gonna have to have an emergency election to fill his spot because he's leaving to run for the Texas.
You were just talking 0.5 trillion.
Where the fuck is it, man? Hold up, y'all bear with me, man. I want to find it because I just seen it on one of these. Hold up, because that's what they've done here. They completely destroyed our voting districts and everything. They don't care, right? Because all they need is to keep in power. This is why I call them Republican rejects, because damn, where the hell is it? Dude, this can't be serious. What was it? Where did I see it on? Start to look. Okay, yeah, hold on. Man, oh man. I just saw it earlier, dude. Okay, here it is. Hey, what's up, everybody? Tiny Tim O'Hare. Okay, I'm gonna let's see if it'll play it for you. That we all could hear it. Where'd it go? I guess it doesn't want to. That's crazy. All right, whatever. It says far north residents, right? Won't have to wait until 2027 for another city council election. Council member, right? Alan Blaylock, who represents parts of Fort Worth surrounding Haslett, announced he is running for the Texas House District 93 seat. The district covers the northeast part of Fort Worth, a slice of Saginaw, and all of Haslett and Blue Mountain. The district is represented by reject Republican Nate Shazline, who announced Monday that he was leaving to seek the seat to take a position at the National Faith Advisory Board. And if y'all don't know who Nate is, I posted videos where they got this pastor. He's from Mercy Culture, and he's calling all people to come out to our city council meeting and do all this weird shit, right? So, yeah, he was the district representative. Was not no more. And it's not playing, so I don't know. Blaylock pointed to his track record on the Fort Worth City Council of opposing property tax increase and increasing tax exemption for seniors and disabled residents. No, he didn't. He has consistently pushed the city to approve the so-called no new revenue tax rate during annual budget discussion. No, he didn't, but he said shit, but he voted with it. Big government doesn't build prosperity, freedom does. He voted against a citizen review board. He voted to kill our public comments. He voted for everything against our freedom. So this is his bullshit statement. Whatever. Right? And look, Blaylock joined the Fort Worth City Council in another special election, right? Because remember, they created two new seats, and he was one of them, right? So he didn't stay long. So he doesn't have a good tracker record of staying there and actually witnessing his work being the change, right? Because I'm done trying to hear. I'm done hearing about the shit they're doing for us is gonna come out, but it's gonna pay off 5, 10, 20 years in the future. You're not gonna be here. So it's weird, you know? And then look, and it's crazy because this dude replaced Carrie Moon. And if everybody doesn't remember or doesn't know who Carrie Moon is, he was arrested, right? And um for drunk DWI. He was drunk, right? And he ended up getting help, not in a good way, right? He got help, by their blue line bullshit, right? Because if you vote with the police, they'll look out for you too. So that's what I was saying. And Kerry Moon had his last meeting. Uh, Kendall, what's up? And he what the hell is that noise? It sounds like a helicopter out there. Anyways, his last meeting, right? He had a monitor on his leg voting on shit. And this is what I mean. Like these dudes, right? They he shouldn't even came. He shouldn't even came. He didn't even complete his whole thing. Then he was supposed to stay there till 2027, right? So he's leaving, abandoning his constituents, his citizens to go do something else. And that's the type of shit I'm talking about. That's what we don't want and we don't need anymore, man. Because it's weird. Like like I said the other day, I'm not from a party. I'm just a pissed off citizen, you know? And I just don't get it, you know? Because if y'all want me to read what I mean, this is a 97-page report. Look, well, 97, 96. This is a 96-page report on them. And look what it says. Fort Worth Police Expert Review Panel. And it was done in 2020, right? 5 years ago. We paid $1 million, right? And look, I'm gonna read something to you. My people. Okay. And this is their conclusion regarding community policing, right? Just bear with me. I'm going to read this and then that should be it. I didn't want to keep y'all here this long. Okay. It says General Orders Chapter 347, 102, 103 all very strongly and clearly articulate the city's commitment to community partnership and the problem solving tenets of community policing, but do not declare community policing as the department's chief operational philosophy. While some aspect of community policing exist, the department does not culturally embrace many of the foundational elements of the organizational transformation established by the architects of community policing. The review panel reviewed the department's policy to understand its community policing policy orientation. The review panel also interviewed police officers to understand how the department operationalized community policing. Our understanding of community persists on perception of and experience with the department's community policing were informed by in-person and virtual individual and group interviews. Our review of community policy and activities. There is a disconnect between what policies prescribe, what officers do, and what the community expects and experiences. Therefore, department does not truly embrace a community policing philosophy. The general orders depict the department as an agency that embraces community policing. A multitude of special units and programs are directed toward developing and sustaining community partnership. Policy 347.01 establishes the mandate for all employees to build an open relationship and dialogue with the community served. Uniform patrol is considered the backbone of most police departments. Yet police officers are not directed by department policy, processes, or systems to routinely engage in community policing. Informal police leaders and other police officials indicate their belief that patrol officers are not held accountable for community policing activities. Community members can often identify and name their NPO, but not other officers who patrol in their neighborhood. While most residents we spoke with expressed favorable opinions of the NPO, they expressed concerns about disrespectful officers, recruits not integrating into the community, and a general lack of accountability. And that's what it means. Like the only one who's doing that are NPOs, and they only have one, right? And this is like one of their examples. 303 says NPOs shall identify and address neighborhood problems. Requires NPOs to coordinate provocative field activities with police officers and available resources. You know, but that's just them. It says other specialized units outside of patrol perform community policing roles. Their placement is the organizational structure may impact the perception of their relative importance to the organization. The investigative and support command of the support bureau houses most of the community. See, it has nothing to do with them. It's crazy. See, because it goes saying nothing about the. See, they even had to change the search warrants, right? Because this is about search warrants. In its previous reports, the review panel evaluated practices of the police department in executing search warrants and identifies issues in its use, acquisitions, and execution of no-knock warrants by the department SWAT team and the policies and training regarding the constitutional obligations to knock and announce generally. The panel found that the department had made important changes that significantly mitigated the identified issues and commended the improvements, but also significant ongoing concerns. The execution of an arrest or search warrant at the residence of a community member is one of the most impactful and conspicuous events a police department can perform. This is particularly true when the execution of the search warrant is done without knocking and announcing first a no knock entry and followed by government agency forcefully and quickly moving through the residence. The practice of a police department in using this powerful tool reveals volumes about a department's culture and genuine concern for developing a partnership with its community to create public safety. Review of warrant execution has thus been a critical assessment. Under current law defining the Fourth Amendment requirements for search and arrest warrant service, police officers executing an arrest or search warrant generally may not make a forced entry into a residence or other structures where reasonable expectation of privacy exists without first knocking, announcing their identity and the purpose of the entry, and waiting a reasonable amount of time for the occupants to admit the officers. In 1997, the Supreme Court held that an officer is not required to knock and announce if doing so would be unreasonable. This includes situations in which officers reasonably suspect that announcing their presence would be dangerous, futile, or result in the destruction of evidence, while the case law defining when officers do not need to knock and announce primarily focuses on exigent circumstances incident to a warrant being executed, a practice in the American law enforcement community has been to get court approval of the practice by having the search warrant include a provision allowing officers to dispense with the knock and announce requirement because one or more of the justification exist and can be articulated when the warrant is requested. In reviewing the use of no-knock warrants by the Department for the 2021 interim assessment, the review panel found that the vast majority of no-knock warrants were for drug investigations and were executed by the SWAT team. This mirrors the practice in the American law enforcement community. The panel recognizes the need for most law enforcement agencies today to have enhanced tactical capabilities, and certainly the need for a department the size of the Fort Worth Police Department to have a dedicated full SWAT team. SWAT teams are critical to address situations where traditional police methods and weapons are inadequate. These include barricaded subjects, hostage situations, and heavily armed assailants that must be responded to in a timely manner. It is clearly unrealistic to task non-SWAT police with such missions. The review panel also recognized the distinction between the reactive SWAT examples noted above and the proactive use of SWAT in support of investigative activity, such as an execution of search warrants. The department has tremendous discretion in the use of, and if y'all want to know what cases they referred to, um, there versus Arkansas, 514 US 927 and 95. Richards versus Wisconsin, 1997, and Hudson versus Michigan. That's what they were referring to. SWAT proactively and must exercise that distinction wisely to avoid the use of SWAT teams when not clearly needed. Any deployment of SWAT team carries with it significant potential for negative impact on community relations and confidence. The clearly unnecessary use of a SWAT team directly and adversely impacts community perception as a grossly ineffective use of department research creates a potentially violent encounter which is avoidable and unnecessarily exposes the city to liability. As a matter of practice, the deployment of a SWAT team to conduct a law enforcement action should only be done when necessary and when no safer alternative exists. The use of a knock-knock warrant by the SWAT team were particularly concerning because of the negative impact on community perceptions of the legitimacy of law enforcement and procedural justice. The review panel examination of search warrant files and interviews of management over the SWAT program indicated that only the SWAT team executed no-knock warrants. In the 2000s, the SWAT team was doing as many as 300 no-knock search warrants annually. In 2018 and 19, the SWAT team conducted 154 no-knock warrants with dynamic entries. 81% of all SWAT warrant execution and 90 no-knock warrants with dynamic entry, 68% of all SWAT warrant execution respectively. In 2020, after there was a review of no-knock warrants, all no-knock warrants with dynamic entry ceased. From mid 2020 through the early 2021, the SWAT team occasionally made a no-knock breach as part of the execution of a search warrant where the team has surrounded the resident and call out all occupants before slowly clearing the premises. In March 2021, the SWAT team seized all no-knock entries, absent extreme justifications to include even breaching incident to surrounding a resident and calling out occupants. And that's crazy. Some no-knock provisions in the sampled warrants generated by the narcotics were not legally justified. Some no-knock provisions in the sample warrants generated by the narcotics units were not legally justified. Some were potential. I need some fucking glasses. Potentially unconstitutional and contrary to specific Texas and Supreme Court guidance. It was clearly the practice of the narcotics section to routinely request no-knock warrants. The SWAT team was using no-knock warrants as a de facto training. It was known to the chain of command that most of the no-knock search warrants executions by the SWAT team were essentially done to provide the team with real missions to augment the established training. The use of SWAT team in the cases reviewed by the panel were often easily avoidable. Most of the drugs related search warrants were forwarded to the SWAT team prematurely when there had been very little investigative work done on the case. So detectives, cops, district attorneys, none of that. Nobody wanted to do investigative work, so they forwarded it to the wrecking crew. You know, and it's crazy. In early 2020, apparently after the well-published shooting of Breonna Taylor in Louisville, the department initiated an internal review of its no-knock search warrants. As noted above, the use of no-knock in the years of 2018 to 2019 averaged approximately 2.3 per week, but by mid-2020, the practice became limited. Additionally, new policy language was added to the general orders, which defined no-knock warrants and provided this as a standard for use. No-knock warrant. A no-knock warrant is a search warrant authorizing police officers to enter premises without first knocking and announcing their presence or purpose prior to entering the premises. Such warrants are issued where an entry pursuant to making an announcement prior to that would lead to the destruction of objects for which the police are searching or would compromise the safety of the police or another individual. No-knock warrants shall only be utilized for extreme situations where the tactics suggest that it is the safest way for the situation to be handled. The SWAT commander will make the tactical considerations for service of the no-knock warrant and obtain final approval from the deputy chief over the tactical command. My battery is running low. Hold up, let me go get my charger. So yeah, people. Yeah, dude. Hey, that's what I'm your Huckleberry. That's what that loser told me yesterday that he was gonna be to me. Oh, pussy ass Chris. That's a wrong one to have. I'm your Huckleberry. I don't know if you're cool or not or whatever, but I'm blocking you. Whoever's up right now and has a wrench, take that thing off of there. I don't trust Chris or none of that. And if y'all heard that call, all right. But that's what he told me yesterday or the other day with that phone call. He said he was gonna be Bill Wayborn's or my Huckleberry. So all right. My bad then. You're good. That's the first thing I saw. So I apologize. No, I already know. Like I don't understand that. That was crazy. And I only played I think it was like 20 minutes of the phone call. And it wasn't. I'm gonna show y'all how long that was. Hold on.
Auditor, and certainly you didn't.
Look how long that says. It says he was on there talking to me for fucking 54 minutes, almost a fucking hour, bro. Like, I don't understand that shit. Because truthfully, what that was supposed to be about, um, I was actually supposed to go on there and talk about this kind of stuff about how we should focus on taking the protection away from police officers. And the way you do that is you figure out how they're being protected, right? And I I expressed that the POA funds certain candidates to win so they can keep their Chris Rectum, whatever the hell his name is, Rectum, Wrecker, whatever, writer, Rectum, some shit like that. And him, yeah, look, and this is what I did, right? Look, and in case no, the click commander, yeah, I love your name. Here, watch.
Go to the table with nothing.
This is what I'm talking about.
You're gonna get it back. Shut up, bitch! I didn't do shit to you, you stupid motherfucker. Last night you did do shit. I didn't do nothing to you, you idiot bitch. Shut your. I can do whatever the fuck I want, bro. I can do whatever I want. I'm a grown ass man. You don't cry when you get the fucking repercussions from it. Repercussions of what? You're a nobody. Yeah, I am somebody. You're a nobody to me, Chris. You're not even in Texas, dumbass. You're a nobody who I don't give a fuck about because you're a dumbass. Somebody to Bill Wayborn, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck. You ain't that video didn't do shit to him, obviously. So get off that bullshit already. I said get off the bullshit already, bro. He wants you, bitch. I don't give a fuck. Huckleberry. He can get in line with the rest of the lame fucks, just like you. No, man. I don't fucking care. I don't care. That shit don't scare me. You mentioning a loser sheriff don't scare me. So, Manuel, let me tell you something. You better fucking walk a real straight line. Bitch, you eat my dick, ho. You eat my dick. Everything you post, bitch, is going straight to Bill Wayborn's pocket. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you and Bill Wayborn. I promise you that. That's not an intimidation factor to me, ho. And then you want to, and you talk about him. Look, listen, you stupid fuck, and you're talking about him fucking with laws. Look what you just said, you dumbass. What did I say? You said I'll do the same thing that Chris is doing to me. What do I have to do with it, you lame fuck? You tell me. What were you doing? What I want to, because you're not my fucking dad. Okay, I'm not stinking dick to you. But I want to. Yeah, so what you want to do? What is it you want out of what you did? None of your fucking business, because it has nothing to do with you. Right? You wanted to fuck me up, didn't you? I don't care.
Yeah. So my whole reason for being on there was to address the issue with why police have this protection and everything. And I never got to say it because this dude was steady texting and messaging Direct D to come up. So I was told to let him do it or whatever, that I would have another opportunity. So I said, don't worry about it, right? I ain't tripping. And plus I was cool with him. So I didn't really worry about it, right? But it was like he was coming at me like I was doing something. Like, bro, I'm not even in Arizona, and I'm not in wherever the fuck he's at, Connecticut or wherever the hell he's at. I'm in Texas, homie. And that shit don't make no sense to me anyways. Like, how the fuck does that even work for people? And he keeps mentioning I was on there, dude, and I told both of them. That's what I said. I addressed both of them. I said it, and I don't understand how he interpreted that. I know. That shit's crazy. That's why I said, look, and I always tell people, please leave me out of this shit. Please leave me out of that. Direct D wasn't putting me on there so I can fucking argue with people. No, I needed help over here to address the way that judges and prosecutors are helping dumbass police officers fuck us over in court. That's what my point was. That's what I wanted to address. And there's 3 main judges that are doing it here, but I never got to. And I was okay with it. Like I said, I was cool with both of them. Whatever, I'll wait. Because I wanted to see what the hell they were talking about. Because I didn't even know this was going on, right? Because when I started watching the whole shit about him calling people out, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And like I said, I wasn't offended by nothing he was saying. I wasn't triggered because he wasn't talking to me. He wasn't talking about me. So that's why I was like, I don't know what the fuck. But it was entertaining and fucking funny as fuck. It's fucked up because some of the people he was talking about, I was cool with, and I was just like, damn, man, how can, and they were intelligent people. Those are intelligent people, but the way, and this is what I give this to everyone. When you're arguing, when you're arguing with someone, coming from an emotional place, you will always lose. You will. You won't never make sense. You won't never understand what the other person's saying because all you're doing is yelling your emotions. And that's it. Because it's easy to beat people with facts. And if you're arguing from a place of facts, then you can piss off the same person because you forced them to argue from a point of emotions because they couldn't trigger you. And that's why I was like, dude. And the only thing that bothered me was how he was coming at me. because I even said, I don't know what the fuck's going on, what you're talking about, because I was clueless to what was going on. I haven't even been paying attention to what this dude, what do y'all call him? Grifter? Yeah, whatever. I didn't know what was going on, dude. And I'm focused right here. Look, I have all this shit about police officers in Fort Worth. Look, I got pages of shit, man. I got pages of shit about cops. See, that's all it is. Nothing. All my dismissals, all the times that they've arrested me and dismissed them. Fun. I'm accounting for them. These are all the times I was arrested and they dismissed them. If they're all in here, I think they are. Hold up, y'all. You get police reports, the whole thing, how you file complaints. Come on now. Okay. Because I don't remember how many times I told Ruff. All right, chow chow, what's up, baby? Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. I was found guilty of 2. Well, they put 2 together, 2 together. I was guilty of these 2. I appealed. I had a shitty appeal attorney because he wanted me to pay him to do it. So I lost that. And then they put 2 of them together again, and I'm on appeal for them right now. And then 2 were never filed. So that's what I mean. And that's what I'm on, right? And I've been screwed over by two civil rights attorneys. One was the Texas A&M School of Law, right? And they made me sign an agreement with your. I can't. My left hand's fucked up. I have to get someone else to do it. I try. I bite them. I can't do that. Clip them like that. So, thank you. That's crazy. My nails. You wanna cut them for me? But yeah, man, that's what I focus on, right? And I did all that, and that's how I'm stuck right now on. Like, I do go film and stuff like that, but like I said over here, they put that 25-foot rule on me. Yeah, to the sheriff. And I know he was coming from a place of anger and frustration, but he was aiming it at the wrong person. And that's what bothered me. Like, I couldn't understand why he was calling me, talking shit to me. And I didn't do nothing with none of them. Like, I don't fucking know JJ. I don't know if he is a fucking scumbag. And I wouldn't know being on a live with him for like 20, even if it was a fucking hour. I don't know the dude like that. So for me to say, oh, yeah, you're a good guy, I would never say no shit like that. I wouldn't talk like that. I wouldn't say no stupid shit like that, dude. And that's what I mean. And I even got this thing when I was arrested. I got arrested at at the trial for that cop, right? And my attorney then was CJ. And we filed a complaint with the state bar on their bitch asses. See? You know, because that's what I focus on, bro. And I knew, like, because they got two, and the other civil rights attorney was from Dallas, and he was fucking shit, right? And then I had CJ, but then fucking yeah, CJ was straight, but the only thing they did to CJ was they fucked him, and in turn fucking me, right? Because I guess most of those cases that I beat were with him, right? So instead of playing fair and all that bullshit, right? And they filed complaints against his bar license, right? Because during this whole time, he was still on probation, and he still is because they keep doing it over and over and over again. So they basically handicapped CJ here in Fort Worth, right? Because it's hard for him to come and defend someone on his own without them fucking with him about it and making up shit and doing little finding the because that's how petty Fort Worth is, right? And the only thing me and CJ disagreed on are our political views, and we had different opinions about a certain subject, right? So me and him aren't talking because, you know, he fucked me over or whatnot, whatnot. Right? I believe one thing and he believes something different. Cool, you know? Yeah, clit. That's how they got it. That's how they got down on me, bro. That's how they got down on me. I'm glad you. Yeah, well, most charges have the 2 year statute of limitation. You know, like the whole thing with the mayor. They during the Officer Aaron Dean shot and unalived Tatiana Jefferson in her home after they called for a welfare check, you know, and he didn't go to the front door. He gonna go to the back door, and he ended up unaliving her in her home. So we started protesting and all that, and what? Hell, hold on, y'all. That's great. Okay, what was I talking? Yeah, okay. Now I remember. And even that whole thing right there where they made him, they used a post that somebody made. I forgot who it was. I don't remember. It was one of those event posts. You know what I'm saying? Where you invite people and it says, well, there was a Mason Yancey. He was a 2A auditor who I don't remember what it was. It was some see, I don't remember what it was, but it you can buy it from like a store. It's not something like that. But I don't remember what it was. But he ended up passed out somewhere in a parking lot. They arrested him, and while he was in the jail, he ended up dying. Right, and everybody came to protest because his family and everybody didn't appreciate that. They didn't like that. So we started protesting and they made a post of everybody whoever wants to come and support, you know, bring yourself and the love you have for Mason, I don't remember how it went, but like 100 and something people said they were coming, right? So they ended up doing that, and that's what they used as a pretext to treat everyone different and suspend the normal rules. So whenever I got arrested at that place for filming CJ checking the shit out of that fucking Lieutenant Driscoll, I went to jail. I got slammed into the wall. Um, and then I went to jail, right? They had charged me with disorderly. Well, they were trying to with disorderly, and what that same pussy loser who slammed me into the wall said I assaulted him outside because he made me trip. You know, they were in a hurry and people were yelling them outside because there was people outside protesting too. And they're like, "Hey, hey, what are you doing?" Because that's what I was saying. They were dragging me, and I ended up in jail, right? And I got processed and everything, but I never got dressed out because like about 7, 9 hours later, they called my name and said I was being released with a ticket. So that's what happened, right? But what they did, instead of charging me with a case, they put in a motion to revoke my bond probation. So that what that hearing was about. And CJ was there, so he wanted to be a witness. I don't know. I don't remember if they convinced him to be a witness or he chose to be a witness. So I had to hire another attorney named Tiffany Burks, and she spanked the fuck out of him. You know what I'm saying? She beat all their bullshit, everything, the disorderly and all that. And they used a memorandum, right? I think it was 6 pages, 4 to 6 pages, I think it was. And all it mentioned was CJ. All of it had to do with CJ, 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 CJ this, CJ that, right? Because what they were trying to do to him is get him on the stand and testify that he was a law enforcement officer so they can charge him with impersonating an officer. Where they got that from, I have no fucking idea. Where they wanted to tell him to admit he was a law enforcement officer, I have no idea, right? And all that was in there, in that memorandum, right? So they lost all that, right? They couldn't do any of that. So the prosecutor, Bassar, the one who went to the Austin jurisprudence to try to ask for it to be a state jail felony because I was getting arrested too much and I didn't care, right? So he he brought the argument up, right? Well, what about the 25-foot rule? And that's where I made him clarify, right? Y'all said an investigation. They weren't investigating. He just said on stand that they were not investigating, but they are now. They're future investigations. And that was cool, but those don't apply to right now, right? So that's when they added that extra condition. So not only I have to stay away 25 feet from a traffic stop or an investigation, if something happens in a building where they start an investigation, then I have to leave the building if there's not a 25-foot perimeter I can be in, right? But then I told them that's impossible because what if they're messing with me and I'm the investigation? See, that's the only thing that I get, right? If the whole thing involves me, like if I've been there and the whole investigation is because of me or I'm there, then that excludes the 25-foot rule because that'd be dumb. That would be like if I actually thought about calling cops, right? And they show up. Oh, you can't be 25 feet from me. You have to go across the street. Motherfucker, you're here because of me. So that's where they gave me that loophole for me, right? But we made them be specific. We made them clarify, right? So in that sense, It was all over. I ended up did the same. They did the same thing they did to Carolina. They held my bond insufficient and doubled it up. So I had to bond out again, right? But when I got out, I asked for that memorandum and the press release that was released by Bill Wayborn stating that I disrupted the meeting and they won't give it to me. I asked, I did a Freedom of Information Act, a FOIA request on it, and they responded telling me that they're asking Ken Paxton for an opinion about keeping it because they're using the confidentiality clause. But they're forgetting that at the end of that confidentiality clause, it states this applies only if it remains confidential. You used it in my hearing. It's public information. Anything y'all use is public information. But not only that, now the DA, the district attorney in Fort Worth, is stating it is also client attorney privilege because now they're representing the sheriff's department. And it's weird. And I'm filing, I, I looked at the lawsuit of it and there's nothing I can do about it, right? As far as suing them. But I'm doing a writ of mandamus to force them to give it to me. So it's crazy because their response to Kim Paxton was like 20 pages. And I have it on my phone. I just don't know how to print it out. I mean, I don't know how to do it to where I think they did something where if I send it to someone, they can't open it. And I don't know why, right? But that's how fucked it is here. And that's why I said I don't Oh, not only that, bro. Check this out, right? Y'all talking about Griftifer and his money, right? Well, I don't know if most of y'all know Taya Graham, right? Her and Steven Janice. They're the ones who do the real news network, right? And a person had reached out to you. Hey, Clit, I have no fucking idea, but I swear, man, these motherfuckers. No, hold up, man. It's in my phone. Watch. I'm not bullshitting. It fucked me up. I was like, what the fuck?
Channel, you kind of slow. I've got 100,000.
Hold up, y'all. I know I took pictures of this shit. Yeah, bear with me. I'll find them. I'll just chill. Yeah, I have to look at it. I'll find it later. Yeah, it's crazy, man. That's what I was supposed to do the other day and I never got to. But this was the reason for me being up there, man. Like I followed it all the way up to Ken Paxton and our governor Hot Wheels at it, right? So I don't and that was the whole point of having me on there because everyone's like, how do we beat the cops? How do you take out their fucking protection? You knock out their legs out from under them, bro. That's what you do, and that's what I've been doing for the past two election cycles. But that POA money and that other shit's kind of hard to beat sometimes, bro. You know, and but we're not giving up. Fort Worth giving up. We're gonna fight and make sure that we take all this shit back from them. You know, because that's what my goal is to do that shit. So I don't know. There was something else I was gonna read, but oh, I'll read this tomorrow. So if y'all, and I have this. This is the that, and if y'all seen it when I got arrested at that trial, this is a lie, right? And this is what I mean too. You complain about how a fucking attorney, a prosecutor, attorney, or a fucking judge are trash, right? It don't fucking matter. They'll lie and everything, right? The only thing we have is what they recently passed here in Texas. And their little argument with each other. No, not no more. Because now they passed this thing in the Senate here in Texas where you can get a a judge, an attorney, a mayor, and all of them, even like commissioner court judges and all that. You can get them all out of there if you can prove they're doing misconduct or what they're doing goes against us. And I forgot what it was. Hold on. So I'll show you right now. Now we'll do that tomorrow. No, let me look for it. I'm just being lazy. I shouldn't do that. Texas House Bill 2715. 2715 is a new law often referred to as the People's Veto that overhauls the process of for removing certain local officials from office. It was passed by the 89th Texas legislature and took effect June 2025. This that the law allows county for the removal of local officials, including prosecutors, such as incompetence or misconduct. The new process aims to reduce political influence by assigning a neutral outside judge and prosecutor. Yep. Proponents of including the conservative Texas Public Policy Foundation argue that it gives power back to the voters and makes it easier to remove rogue officials who abuse their office. And the opponents of the bill, including liberty advocates for filing the petition, could lead to politically motivated or frivolous accusations against officials. Nope. Yeah. Now, for real, Click Commander, there is, because this is it's crazy. Yeah. So that's what they gave us here in Texas, and that's what I mean. Like we barely got shit like that, but we didn't get it because they care about the fucking citizens. They didn't give it to us because they care about it. They did it to take each other out. Like if you didn't rule the way they wanted to, they just get a whole bunch of people and be like, man, fuck this dude, get him out of here. So yeah, that's what I'm working on right now, because we already have them. We already have a couple incompetent and misconduct. We have those, right? And now that because they really hurt me. They hurt my game when they took CJ away from me, man. That really fucking pissed me off. And like I said, my disagreement with CJ had nothing about my cases or court. It was just we had different opinions about our beliefs. Had nothing to do with the law or nothing like that. So know what I'm saying, man? And that's how they stopped me, right? Because again, remember I said the first ones was a whole group. They were willing to help me sue the mayor and then the cops afterwards. But all of a sudden, they don't want to do it, and they ended up getting $80 million from the mayor and a brand new school they're building them right now. I would have took the same fucking deal. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's been happening to me. It's pretty fucked up, but hey, I still keep going because not done. It's not done, but it took a long time to get where I'm at right now, and I'm not mad about it. So I found different ways to take the protection of cops, and you have to. They're like the other dude. I'm trying to think I'm this. No, being a victim of a crooked system forces you to become an attorney. It forces you to become a paralegal. It forces you to become research into shit you never wanted to understand. They force you to become this individual to fight back to them, right? And that's why I said what I said, man. If you're arguing from a place of emotion, you're gonna lose, because the only way you need to argue is coming from the place of truth and facts. That way you make the other person argue from emotions because they couldn't trigger you. So this was a long fucking trip, bro, of understanding. Because for a year or two, I thought it was just the cops. They were too smart. And it wasn't. They're dumb as fuck. Bro, I get help from certain people. Because I had 2 jobs, but I got fired from both of them because of pussy ass cops asking for favors. I ended up I have to pay $5,000 for my attorney. And I've gotten 600 so far, and I still owe him $4,400. So, but he gave me a deal and a payment plan. So every month I ended up drawing, or I ended up into my brother and let me go work with him. And it's gonna get a little better because I ended up getting my ID now. So I mean, I don't care, and I'll still keep doing it because everyone always throws that shit in my face. You do it for you, whatever. Cool. I've been stuck on 6,000 subscribers since I started this channel. And this is my second channel. That's why it's Manuel Mata 2. This is how fucked up the cops. I had them. I had them against the ropes. They won't give me my property back, to where they're telling me I have to hire an attorney to get a motion and an order for them to release my property. This was years ago, right? So that's how they took my first channel, right? So I couldn't have access for the password and all that. Phone number was gone. Everything is gone. So I had to start a new channel, right? And I've been stuck on, I haven't made the $100 threshold in about fucking 6 months. So this money and making money and all that is not my motivation, bro. You know what my motivation is? Getting phone calls from people in my city wanting me to come here, go there, show them this, show them that, right? And I don't mind doing it. For what? Because look, the actual stupid people are the ones that gain so much knowledge and do nothing with it. You know? And I, I I'm done with dealing with bullshit, right? I don't have time to entertain bitter feeling fragile egos. Come on, though. We're in 2025, man. Like, these dudes are really trying to protect themselves. Like, in my state, they're determined to keep their fucking power no matter what. And we're determined to take it back. And that's all I've been on, man. That's all I've ever wanted to do. And I'm gonna do it. I'm going to do it. And I'm glad that you are here, witnessing all this, because like I said, my whole channel isn't about nothing, none of that shit. Like, I'm not on what Chris is on, man. Like, and I just want to deal with what the issue is here in Fort Worth. Maybe it'll spread, because I know if I can change things in Texas, it'll spread to the Fifth Circuit. Stuff like that. I want to change statutes. I want to change codes. I want to go irritate the and people in Austin, stuff like that. That's what I want to do. I want to jam up the people that are in power to force them to do something by using their own codes and statutes against them. Yeah. And fuck him. On a cool, fuck that dude, right? He treats the only woman on that fucking commissioner's court with so much disrespect. He's a fucking pussy. That's so crazy, man. I don't get that. I don't get that. To me, he's a fucking coward. To me, you are. Because when it comes to us, you tell guards, you tell your fucking puppets, your little ragdoll fucking lip. I don't want to say it, but yeah, you tell them to do that for you, right? Just like when I go there, y'all won't leave me the fuck alone because y'all too busy trying to figure out if I have a warrant, right? Because y'all don't want me in there. right? But that's what. Suck it easy. That's why they're getting all this extra help now. That's why they have to do the 25-foot rule. That's why they're setting all this bullshit, right? And and for anyone to say that they're gonna help my oppressors, it's like you're not. I mean, cops and detectives are kind of dumb, right? But you're dumber than they are, and you're not better than these guys. I promise you that. No, they got people watching mine, Carolinas. No, no, no. And I wanted to figure out what the fuck they were talking about. I just lost the want to because of the way he came at me, bro. And I don't care what no one says. I don't care. Nah, because he said I was supposed to be his friend. He said he's known me forever. All this. Why not have a conversation with me? Why would you let your aggravation and your frustration for another person reflect on me? Why wouldn't you come to me for understanding instead of just fucking, yes, man, you're right, dude. You're the dumbest motherfucker alive. But yeah, you're right. Man, come on, bro. Stop it. Nah. I can't deal in emotions no more, man. It won't get me nowhere, you know? But now we all know, you know, now we all know what his true colors are, right? Because there's no way no one's going to make me believe that what he said he came up on the spot with. No. There's some things that people say that they're too comfortable saying it. And the reason why is because they've done it and they don't have no issue with it. So that was it. As soon as I peeped game and understood, that was it. He started sounding like a police. That's when I started recording it. Because I still don't understand it completely. But he put me in a position to where I don't even care. Those are fucking facts. Because if y'all actually go back there and look, he told me how he ended up with those 15 charges. He's too stupid to understand that man is sitting there screenshotting his stuff. Everything that he's saying is an accusation and everything come post and your videos. I made the dude it. I even made him, yeah, he did. We did mag dump him. Woo, woo, woo. I don't know what I was supposed to do, right? Because that wasn't why I was supposed to go on Direct D's live anyways. What I just spent an hour and something explaining to y'all was what I was supposed to do. I never got to. That's why I said, fuck it, I'll just do it on mine. And if fucking 200 people watch it, so fucking what? Right? Oh, suck it easy. Nah, they gonna give him what he looking for in there. That was it. We can't do that type of shit in there. Nope. In there, he might even go in there with that jacket on him. Those are called jackets, right? And who knows? Go in there with that jacket. Who knows? They got cell phones everywhere. Oh, I seen that fool live on the internet talking about snitching on some dude in fucking Texas. Nah, bro, do you want to hear what he said? It's that easy. It's that simple. And that's what I mean. If you're and this, I say it for me, I stay in my lane so other people can too, right? You're not gonna see me on no shit. Like if he wouldn't have came at me like that the other day, I wouldn't even mention him right now. Like that dude was out of my head for almost what, a year and a half. And then he's gonna lie and say that he called me 2, 3 months ago. I never answered you because I was tired of you calling me, asking me about other people. You want this, you want that. Cool. And then when you try to tell me, what about what I did for you? Bitch, you made a 30-minute video for me. I said thank you when you did it. I shared it. But to be like, I owe you because of that. Now I'm in debt to you. Come on, dog, stop it. Because for one, it didn't stop anything, right? It didn't do anything, which is crazy. Why someone would think that? But then you have to be delusional, and then that's what we're dealing with. That's why I said, and that's why I forgot to bring it up the other day. But there's a thing called DARVO, defense, attack, and reverse victim and offender. And that's what he's dealing with. Because I used it on our city council the other day. That's how I know about it. Right? See? It's called DARVO. See? Attack, deny, attack, reverse. See? And it's part of reactive abuse. Is a manipulation tactic where a perpetrator goads or provokes or a victim into a negative emotional reaction, then uses that outburst to claim the victim is the true abuser. This causes the victim to feel confused, ashamed, and responsible for the abuser's own actions. And it has two components of it. Well, it has more, but these are the ones that I used. It's called psychological projection and victim mentality, right? Defense mechanism. Psychological projection is a defense mechanism where a person unconsciously attributes their own unacceptable feelings or traits to another person. An abusive person may accuse their victim of being crazy or unstable to avoid confronting their own internal issues. Victim mentality. This is a broader pattern where a person fabricates or exaggerates their victimhood to get attention, manipulates others, or avoids responsibility. While not all instances involve provoking conflict, it is a core component of reactive abuse. So I knew what I was dealing with, right? And that's what I mean. Yeah. I'm crazy. Yes. But the good thing about me is instead of getting stuck on fucking pills, I ask them people to show me how to cope with it because I don't want to be on pills. And when I was getting out of the federal system, I wasn't going to have any control or any overseer over me that said, you have to do this, you have to do that. So I told her, I have 2 years left to go home. And I would want to learn how to cope with my mental illness, not medicated or be a fucking zombie. And that's what she helped me with for 2 years. So I know too much shit like that, you know, and you're not gonna get me like that. Because look, personally, and I even said it, if that's what I was doing, if if I convinced a jailer or a police officer to either let me be part of their business or come into my business, I'm going to defend them too, right? But what he's making it seem is I knew all this going in. Like I knew everything. And that wasn't the case. So I don't know, yo. But I already went over. I was only gonna do this for an hour, but I just wanted to talk about that. That way y'all can understand how what I'm trying to do will never be in the same rail as what fucking four piece of shit is trying to do. Because that's what I changed his name in. Four piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what he is. He's a fucking piece of shit. You know? And I don't I just want to make my neighborhood safer, and I want to get these fucking crooked politicians out of there, right? And that's my goal. And I think this go around, we're gonna do it. And I say we because I'm not ego driven. I don't have a big head. I'm not delusional that I'm doing this all by myself, right? I'm just one of the few people who can give volume to it or make it go farther. You know, that's all it is. You know, I'm a part of something great. I don't have to lead it. I don't have to be the leader. I don't have to be the voice or the face. I'm just a part of it. And to me, that's enough. Because I believe this. There's two things I learned out of changing my life, right? People only far as they allow themselves. And when they start blaming their shortcomings on others, is when they need to stop and realize who the fuck they're really blaming. And then this, and I said this the other day, right? And I'll always give credit to the Almighty, right? And I know there's people who don't believe in God and Christ and all that. That's fine. That's cool. Still love you. You're still my friend, and we can talk about whatever. Um, and the second thing that he gave me was real instrumental in being able to deal with this pussy the way I did, right? Because this is what I came up with. Explain what I gave up and about it. So God took people out of my life that I would die for and replaced them with people that I would live for, right? So in that sense, when you make your mission selfless, you can't lose. You can't. You can't lose. But the minute you make it about me, you, that's when it's a wrap. It's over. And that's what you're seeing all over the fucking internet. People making their missions about them and their egos. And that's why I said nothing I'm doing right now will benefit me. It won't. I already went to jail. I already got thrown on the ground. I already got guns pulled on me, fucking tasers, mace. All of it's already happened to me. Everything I do is for the next person. You know? And I'm all right with that. I'm cool with that. You know? Because little by little, they're going to respect the regular person, not just me. Because that's what bothers me. Right? Because the only ones that arrest me now are the ones that don't know who I am, never seen me, or whatever. Right? But what I'm trying to do is stop them from doing that to the regular person. Someone who doesn't have a YouTube channel, someone who doesn't know that they can go to the city council and tell them, what the fuck are y'all doing? You know, those are for I'm doing it for. And also my nieces and nephews, you know, all of them, right? Because ever since I started doing this, You know, like I'm gonna be honest, my family didn't really want me around that much because they couldn't trust how I was. Cause I was cool. I could be cool for a minute. I would zone out, wig out, and it's fuck everybody. And then it's like, just leave, man. Just go home. Come back. Just go. To where now it's like, hey, we're doing this. Are you gonna be able to come? Yeah, hell yeah. That's the acknowledge. That's what makes all this worth it, right? The way people talk about me different because now when people ask my family, "Where's your brother?" You know, they don't have to be, they don't have to lie and be in shame and say, "Oh, he's doing good" or whatever. Right? When I was in prison, when I was locked up, or when I was homeless on the fucking streets. Right now, it's like, well, he's doing good. He's doing his thing. You know, and it's the most beautiful thing I've ever had to experience. And I'm cool when people tell me, "Oh, you have feelings." Oh, yeah, yeah. Because being a robot, being on fuck you and fuck everyone status is so fucking exhausting. And for you motherfuckers that say it ain't shit, you're a fucking lie. Because eventually it's going to get so tiring, you don't even want to deal with yourself. So then when you're in your room, you're in your house, and you don't want to answer no one, you don't want to talk, that's why. That's why you gave up on your own self, but still blaming everyone else for it. Stop doing that, you know? That's why I said, man, I used to break a whole bunch of fucking mirrors because I couldn't stand my reflection. Now they're all around me. They're everywhere, you know? And that's all I want to teach people, man. And I've said this, right? And I've said this and I've proven it. For some weird reason, I've been able to turn victims into warriors. Seeing the fight getting put back on someone, seeing someone getting back their light and saying, you know what? Yeah, fuck that. That right there is worth everything I go through. Every fucked up day, every fucking live stream full of fuck you, Mata. Every bad feeling, every doubt that I've ever had is vague in comparison to that. To that. Watching someone grow. And it does make all this worth it to me, you know, because for most of my life, my accomplishments were negative, brutal, and the people cheering me on never gave a fuck. They were just too. And that's why I hate bullies. I hate people who take advantage of people and use them. No, no. You know. So I am not ashamed of where I came from because it gave me the ability to not be that anymore. You know, and I don't regret none of this. None of this at all. I don't regret none of it. You know, I've lost good people doing this. Not because they sold me out or they were bad. It's just the world took them from me. And some of them still fucking hurt. But I know that they're up there. So yeah, I I used to get told this a lot by a person that's no longer here, and he would always tell me not to be stupid for people because they're not the people to impress. And I never knew what he meant. And that's why I said I remember what he used to always tell me. And it was after I read y'all this, I'm gonna end it because I don't know.
You're interfering. The 49. I don't know. In Baltimore, what was that? So we just parked. Sad.
Some of us have to shine extra bright so that others have something to look to in the dark. That's what I hold on. Because for a while, I thought he was talking about me. That's not what it was. I didn't know he was going to be gone.
The 49 million thing.
I thought I was the light. That wasn't it. It took a good man out of this world. Thomas Torlincossi. Me and him been through some shit, and we've been kicked out of Tarrant Regional Water District, the Tarrant Appraisal District. We've been kicked out of the City Hall, police stations. Yeah, the way he left was real fucked up. And I have this whole box of, of stuff that he left with me. And he's like, I'll be back for it. And that's why I would call him and tell him, "You're gonna come get it." He would always, "No, just, I'll go get it. I'll go get it." And then the last day I talked to him, he goes, "Just don't give it to no one." I'm like, "It's yours. Why would I do that?" I never heard from him again. Uh, a news reporter called me and asked me what I thought about him dying, and I didn't know. I was calling his phone, and it never answered. I never got close to a white person like that before. Because my whole life, I was raised by white people in the system. I didn't like him, I didn't trust him. He's the one who, I don't know how he got in, man. And Everything I became now is because of him. The way I'm able to go do speeches, the way I'm able to investigate differently, I learned it from him. He found me filming traffic stops and told me if I wanted to really fight for work. And that at that time, I thought I was. I thought by me getting arrested and lied on by police officers, I was doing something. And he opened a whole new world for me. Meeting him, I've met so many people I would have never met had I not went with him. So and I smile because I'm happy. I'm able to cry tears of joy for him because my little sister was killed in a drive-by, and it took me forever to cry about that. I couldn't. I was just a little ball of fucking hate and fuck you. I blamed myself so much for her, and I just know that because now I know I made both of them proud. I'm not I'm not an actual loser no more. I I know now that she's proud of what I'm doing because I'm not like that no more, and I'm nothing like my father. I'm completely different, and yeah, man. Yeah, he was. I had told him one day, man. I told him I look at you like a father figure. He told me don't tell him that because he's not old enough to be my dad, and I could never say that to someone. I could never tell someone I needed them. I could never tell someone help. I couldn't admit that I didn't have it figured out. I couldn't admit that I was falling apart. I couldn't none of that. And I did. I did. And the weirdest part about all this, right? No, don't get me wrong. There are trash police officers. There forever will be DF clique members. Yes, forever. But I met one police officer that made me see something different. And for that person, I will forever be grateful because he brought me closer with my God. It just fucking sucks that there's so many piece of shit officers here, man. Because it's hard to say they're good cops when so many of them are fucking garbage. You know, that's why I gave up on the whole trying to make cops do something different. So I focused on judges, prosecutors, mayors, um, attorney generals, and all the motherfuckers. No, so yeah, that's why I be telling people, man, respect the lame, because the asshole's gonna make you cry. You know, and I mean that. I mean that. Respect this version of me, because you made me go sideways. You're not going to like it. You're not. Because I even had this thing that I wanted to put more community programs into community centers and other areas. Like if churches were willing to keep their shit open for kids, you know, because some of them, majority of people in my neighborhood are in single parent homes, right? So their parents either work all day or all night. And that's what was happening to me because my mom was stuck with having two jobs after my trash ass dad left us like that. So I hardly saw her. And that's what led me down the wrong road because I was looking for love and acceptance. And the only ones I got it from were from murderers, drug dealers, pimps, and prostitutes. So my whole version of love and acceptance was fucked up to begin with, right? But I can say this, being around those people, they had a different interpretation of loyalty, you know, of togetherness. It was crazy because I don't know, it was just crazy. But I just want to thank everyone for being here, listening to my oh, it was good. You know, all of it. You know, I'm glad I was able to give y'all a little piece of myself too at the end, you know, because I've always answered questions just like when I started this whole my other channel, right? I doxed myself. My YouTube is my name, right? And I've said I did 22 years locked up. I hurt people. I've ruined lives. I've stolen souls. You know all that. You know, and I've walked away from it because I did all that thinking I needed to be strong and have power, and it didn't mean nothing because no one respected me. No one really loved me. Just what I could do, you know. Man, I'll tell you, man, I was a Satanist for 15 years. The first time I got incarcerated was TYC, Texas Youth Commission. I went in 94 and I got out in 2021. And that's where I found the satanic Bible. And I hated my dad so much, and he was a preacher. That's why I said I would never be weak again. I would never be taken advantage of. And following that man with that religion, that's all I ever was, a victim to him. So I chose the devil, and I rock with it. I still have tattoos all over my body. I got the pentagram right here on the side of my head. My whole chest is nothing but devils. You know, I just, like I said, I got tired of defending myself from myself. And I'm the coolest guy you'll ever meet, dude. I fuck with everybody. I'm cool with everybody. Just please respect that. You know, I don't have no ill will or no bad intentions for anyone. Just leave it there. You know, I don't want to hurt no one. I don't want to defend myself, but I will. I will. That's why I said, please respect this version of me. I'm happier now. I can smile. I can cry. That's the biggest part of all this. I'm able to cry. And it never was an embarrassment thing. I didn't give a fuck if people saw me do it. I just didn't know how. I stopped myself from crying because that's what would fuel my dad to beat me more. The fact that I was crying, it would excite him and make him do it more. And when I stopped crying, when he would hit me, that's when he started to psychological torture. No, I said, yeah, being here, watching, listening, and most importantly, understanding. You know, say a quick shout out to everybody who was here, and then I'm gonna end it. Ciao, ciao. What's up, baby? Just Dave. What's up? Nevaeh. Adam. Nevaeh, yes, he did. He got his back pay. Freaking awesome. What's up, man? I am the click commander. Glad you were here. Freaking awesome. Kindle. Hi. Noberto, ¿qué onda ese? Khalifa's in the house. Joe. Huckleberry, my bad. I know you're not him. Okay, my bad. Stay tuned. That mover store. What? That mover store. Oh, that mover Steve. What's up? Yeah, he did. Fuck him though. Bazinga. Appreciate you being here. Bridge the gap. Does suing a cop ruin his credibility? No, but proving that he's a liar does. Because he can't be on the stand and that he has no credibility. He has some truthfulness or failure or false reporting. Those three things are what ruin their credibility. Because they can get fired from here for doing all that. And as long as they're not charged, they'll quit and they'll just go work at another department. That's what ended up with Kruger. Joko Cop Watch. What's up, baby? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nevaeh. Hell no. Better not cry in there, dude. They'll fuck you all the way up in there, bro. You know what? Truthfully, we all have that breaking point in there. Suck it easy. But you know what most of us do, truthfully? In the shower. That's where you cry. Like if you get bad news, you're some to die, you don't make parole, or you end up getting more time, the shower is where everyone cries and no one will judge you.